Hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're talking about our second episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, entitled Children of the Comet. Looks like we've got a bit of a Armageddon style or a Deep Impact sort of style episode for next week, where our crew of the Enterprise have to save a planet from impending Armageddon destruction by somehow thwarting a comet from striking the planet and wiping out all life. But we have a sneak peek scene for this episode to have a look at. Doesn't show us any comet business, but it's a nice scene to introduce our new chief engineer called Hema, the Enar. We've got also Uhura in this scene, and we've got a bit of stuff with Spock as well. It's a funny scene, and I'm really thinking that Hema is going to be a fan favourite character. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Sci-Finatics yet, please go ahead and click on that big red button to stay up to date and current with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. So much stuff going on in 2022, so be sure to click that button for all the latest news. Okay, so let's have a look at this sneak peek scene. We're going to break it down shot by shot. We're getting a really nice look at one of the new sets for the show, which is Pike's quarters. And oh my God, do Pike's quarters look like the best captain's quarters we've ever seen in a Star Trek episode up to date. So let's take a look at this scene and we'll then break it down shot by shot and see what extra information we can learn about our new series, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So let's take a look.
Oh, can I help?
No.
You have offended Hemmer, our new chief engineer.
No offense intended. I was raised to offer help to anyone with a sensory impairment.
That word again.
Sir?
Impaired.
Wow, the Pike's quarters look amazing. We've got a massive island bench in the middle of a kitchen space. We've got, table settings for all the crew. We've got Pike in the background, marinating some nice ribs or something he's got going on there. Hemmer's chopping up some chorizo or something. Maybe he's doing a nice little grazing plate there with some antipasto. This is unlike anything we've ever seen before in a Star Trek episode in terms of actual, like a cocktail party almost. Screw the replicator. We're preparing these meals from scratch with, fresh ingredients. It's like a full operating kind of masterclass in culinary skills here.
A human in my condition may consider themselves impaired.
Hemmer may not be able to see, but his other senses compensate.
Compensate? They are superior.
I've read that among many things, the Enar have a form of precognitive ability.
I knew you were going to ask that.
Because you sensed my question before I asked it?
Because everyone always asks that.
Right.
Now, interesting to see also that we've got Uhura in a uniform that looks somewhat different to our other uniforms that we've seen. I wonder whether somebody said to her, hey, we're having a cocktail party in the captain's quarters, which is all very informal. We've got Pike in civilian gear. We've got Chapel in civilian gear. We've got other officers just in regular Starfleet uniform. And whether Uhura being a little bit green, she's straight out of the academy, she's still a cadet, maybe she thinks, oh, this is a big formal do, I have to wear my dress uniform. So if I had to put a guess on it, I would say that this uniform that Uhura is wearing is the dress uniform with a bit of gold trim on it, a bit of fancy bling on the shoulders. The red stuff is very glittery. It's a very fancy version of the uniform. So I'm guessing that she thought that, she has to wear her fancy dress uniform to this very formal cocktail party, but as it will probably turn out, it will turn out to be a very informal event. Everybody's having glasses of wine and preparing a meal and everything. It looks like a really family affair here. My guess is that Hema is going to be a fan favourite character. And he's sort of nothing like we've seen in a chief engineer before. He's kind of got the gruffness of Odo, but he's blind like Geordie LaForge, another blind chief engineer. But he's obviously got heightened senses as well, maybe a form of precognition there as well. I think that his personality, there's going to be a lot of humour that's derived from Hema as a character. I think that gruffness and that sort of perfectionistic attitude, and probably he's got a very very staunch work ethic as well, and he also believes that he is not impaired in any way. His other senses are so much more heightened. He's superior to the rest of the crew in some fashion. So I think that kind of that gruff personality coupled with his sort of bit of attitude, and he's going to be very good at his job, I feel. He's going to be a very efficient chief engineer, that I think Hemmer is definitely going to be a fan favourite character. The other thing I noticed about Hemmer as a character is that he doesn't have articulating antenna. Like they had on Star Trek Enterprise. Obviously, they made a decision in terms of animatronics and so forth on Star Trek Enterprise with Shran and other Andorians to have their antenna wiggling around from time to time, and they would obviously have them on a remote control. They would, their antenna would be expressive as they got angry or sad or whatever the case was. Their antenna would move around and help kind of express emotion. Which they haven't done on Strange New Worlds here. And I remember noticing on Discovery, the Andorians we saw on Discovery as well didn't have articulating antenna. So it seems like we've taken maybe a little bit of a step backwards in terms of the technology that they implemented on Enterprise that they haven't decided to carry over into Strange New Worlds. Maybe they figured it was too much effort or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they made a creative choice not to have articulating antenna on the Andorians, or in this case the Enar. I'd be interested to know the reasoning behind that. Just looking at Pike's quarters in a bit more detail here. Geez, they're fancy. We've got a fire pit there with a nice open fireplace. We've got couches. We've got coffee tables with hors d'oeuvres and some nibbles and some grazing plates. We've got crew members standing around with glass of wine or something. It looks like an event anybody would love to go to. Pike's marinating some ribs. Chapel's handing out hors d'oeuvres to the other guests and other crew members that are there. I think this is going to be a regular event in the captain's quarters. Obviously, we've had the regular sort of social events before in Star Trek series, much like the poker game. We had regularly taking place on Picard's Enterprise. Obviously on Enterprise we saw T'Pol and Trip and Archer often catching up for a meal in the captain's quarters. But this is just taking it to a whole new level entirely. This is like a 5-star cocktail party going on here. One thing I'm really sensing from Strange New Worlds is we're really going to learn about the characters. The characters are king. It's that 7 or 8 characters that form the crew, the family of the show that I think within a few episodes' time we are going to know very, very well, and it's going to bond us with Strange New Worlds, like all of our other Star Trek series, except for perhaps for Discovery, because still 4 seasons into Discovery, I don't feel like we know our bridge crew particularly well at all. And I feel like almost within a few episodes of Strange New Worlds, it feels like we're going to know our main bridge crew better than we will have known our Discovery bridge crew after 4 seasons. So guys, let me know what you think of Hemmer, our new chief engineer character, who we've seen introduced in this sneak peek scene. What do you think of him? Do you think he's going to be a fan favourite? Do you think he's going to be a really fun cross between sort of Odo and Geordi and umpteen other Star Trek characters, but also have his own flavour as well? Leave your thoughts in the comments section, and guys, please leave a super thanks if you're able to. Really helps the channel out, much appreciated. If you can't, just leave a like and a comment, that always helps everything. And subscribe if you haven't already done so. Check out my merch in the merch store where you can pick up all of my cool Star Trek flavoured merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, caps, all that sort of thing. And I'll be back for my next review very soon. I'll catch you soon.